gate. And so the otakus fought. Nah, I'm kidding. That was actually something I was thinking of doing, to just replace the defense force with otakus, because the main character has a really interesting interest, and even in like the first episode, in the first like 30 seconds of the episode, he's like, if I had to choose between my work and my hobbies, it'd be hobbies 24/7, all day, every day. And it's really interesting because that's when you first see that, you're just like, what? That's not a good way of presenting the main character. That's not a good way of starting off a show, besides maybe getting a couple laughs and making people think, oh, this might be a comedy then. But it really isn't a comedy. I mean, there's some light moments here and there that makes it really funny, but overall, the overarching themes, all the elements and the genres of this anime is very complex, very heavy stuff. Like politics, for one, subjugation, slavery. Although, actually, that's not in the anime. I'm just going to say this right now, that I have read the manga, and I think I read the manga a year before the anime came out. Or I started reading the manga a year before it came out. And I caught wind of the anime actually coming out, I think 3-4 months before the season of 2015 started. And my roommate and I were like, holy shit. This manga's getting adapted? Oh my god, that's so hype. And then we continued smoking weed and started popping crack. But yeah, that's kind of what happened, because when we found out about that, I was just finishing up the manga up to where it is now. Actually, I think it updated 2-3 chapters after I completely caught up. But it was like I was just catching up to where the manga has been fully translated in terms of like the fan translations of it. And so when I heard about the anime, I actually knew what happens and what was going to go down, and I was actually really hyped to see this all animated, because it's a very, very good manga. I mean, even if I were to say that this anime was the shittiest anime of all time, I would still say read the manga, because the manga is really good, and it captures the essence of what I think the original source was trying to convey, which was a web novel, I think. It was a web novel at first, and then it became a light novel, and then it became a manga, and now an anime. Going from manga to anime is a good transition compared to doing light novel to anime and then manga, because that is a really disharmonious transition. So, getting back to Gate. What is Gate? I shall give you the synopsis that's on Crunchyroll. On August 20XX, the year whatever you want to say, a gate suddenly appears in Tokyo's Ginza district, unleashing a portal where monsters, medieval knights, and other fantasy beings come from another world and wreak havoc on Tokyo. The Japanese Defense Force take action against these monsters and push them back into the gate. Third Reconnaissance Team is dispatched to the special region, quote-unquote, led by Officer and Otaku, I like how that's in parentheses, and Otaku Yoji Itami. On their travels, they are joined by a beautiful elf girl who is a survivor from the Dragon's Rampage and guide the group across the dangerous new world. That's a really shitty synopsis, to be honest, because they're totally disregarding the Lei-Lei, because Lei-Lei is a mage and she's a girl. In the manga, when I was reading, I totally thought it was a guy, and when I found out it was a girl, I'm like, oh, that's a thing. But so, anyways, Lei-Lei, Tuka is the elf, and then there's another one that I'll get over to in a minute that everybody claims to be the best girl, which, yeah, I'll just leave that for now. But Lei-Lei, I think, is the one that guides them, because Tuka has some serious PTSD after the Dragon's Rampage. And it is really intense PTSD. And I don't think she really is that much of a help especially if you're taking just the anime perspective. She's not even in the anime she doesn't seem that significant of a character. But so either way, I think Lei-Lei, the human mage, should be the one that's credited to be the one that's guiding them through the new world. So that kind of bugs me that was the synopsis. But so that's what Gate is basically. It's these otherworldly beings from a fantasy world go through a gate and then they start slaughtering people in Tokyo. And you're thinking to yourself, this is like the first couple minutes in the first episode. You're just thinking to yourself, damn, that's GG. That's GG Japan. Because you think it's just going to keep going like that. And then Itami, after the short little brisk presentation in the very beginning showing him to be an otaku, and you're just like, why? Why did you do this? Then Itami shows up, and he's actually part of the defense force. And it's like, oh, damn, this guy's awesome. And he's actually pretty big badass when he's dealing with monsters in the Ginza incident. And because of the Ginza incident, after everything's all said and done, he's promoted to become a lieutenant because of politics. Because there's really no other reason for him to be promoted other than that. Because all he really did was just direct people. And I'm sure there could have been somebody else that did it. Like, I'm sure there was somebody else that was helping him. But either way, yeah, he becomes a lieutenant, a second lieutenant? I'm pretty sure it's just a lieutenant. And he's given the 3rd Reconnaissance Team. Like, he's given command of them, and then they go over to the gate with the rest of the defense force. And the defense force goes over, and then they're on this place called Owner's Hill, and it's actually like a really sacred hill. So when they go across into the new world, there's like an army waiting for them. And that's I think episode 2. And in episode 2, they demonstrate the massive disparity between the otherworldly fantasy beings and the JSDF. Because the JSDF is like 10,000 people, I think. I think there's like 10,000 soldiers with tanks and artillery and guns, so on and so forth. And then you compare them to, I think that's 100,000 standing army, like 100,000 strong, for the New World Army, and they just get slaughtered. They just get absolutely slaughtered. And it kind of eases you into the thinking, okay, yeah, this is the disparity between the two powers that are fighting each other. This is no contest. It's like you're trying to fight a bear with a toothpick, and you're just not going to do anything at all. And that's the general overview that's the general summary of Gate. And so the defense force fought. I gotta be honest with you, I'm serious about this. That when I heard that this was gonna be an anime, I just jumped up and down in hype and in ecstasy because I was just, oh man, this is so awesome. Hallelujah. Sorry for my terrible singing voice. But yeah, that's what happened when I heard about it. And then when I actually watched the anime, I'm surprised that I didn't really go in with too much expectations because I knew it was by A1 Pictures. A1 Pictures is known to butcher the shit out of series. And the one that comes to mind right now is Sword Art Online. But that's totally different story. That's a whole nother ball game. Not gonna touch that yet. But A1 Pictures is pretty notorious to be known throughout the entire fan base that watches anime. They're notoriously known to either butcher anime or not portray them to the fullest extent, to the fullest potential that they could have. Because they're just trying to do whatever they can. And before I actually heard that the anime was basing its art style off the light novel, I was really upset that the anime's art style was totally different from the manga. The manga and the anime have such different art styles. Like, I'll show you right now the difference between Princess Pina in the manga and Princess Pina in the anime. It's such a large disparity. And the only person that looks anything like each other between the two mediums is Lei-Lei. And that's only because she's so generic. Like, I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be like insulting to the art design of her, but she was already in the style that A1 Pictures likes to put their anime in. Just big round eyes, nice, just generic, not generic, I don't know what else to call it. A generalized art design, and you can still distinguish her. Anyways, I'm looking at the reviews right now for Gate on Crunchyroll, as always, and I'm actually really happy with the average rating that I see, which is 4.5 out of 5, and 152 views or votes. And the highest rating is 107 with 5 stars. That's pretty damn good. And the only issue that I have with these reviews is that most of them that are like top comments, like not comments, top reviews, is that they're all from the beginning of the anime, like first impressions, what they think of it so far. They're all that, and that's all the top highly rated reviews, and that upsets me a little because you can't base. I mean, if you're gonna do a written review, if you're gonna do a video, a first impressions video, that's one thing. But if you're gonna do a written review, you're actually physically typing on your keyboard or writing it down and then typing it. One way or the other, going to typing up a review onto a website. Don't do that for first impressions. Or if you're gonna do that for a first impression, edit the damn thing after you finish Gate. It's just edit it after Gate is done, because then you have a first impressions, and then you have what you thought at the very end. Because if you're giving off your if you're making a review and you're not editing it after the first impressions, basically what you're saying is, yeah, first impressions is all that matters. But really, now, come on, Gate. Every anime is make or break, honestly, when the ending comes around. Like the last final stretch comes around, because that is when you see whether or not the franchise or the company that's animating it is going to rush the shit out of the final leg, or if they're gonna just calmly reach a conclusion, or they're gonna do an anime ending, or just any number of different things that they could do. But the final stretch of an anime is usually what makes or breaks an anime. But I digress. That just went off topic again. Some of the few things that I really like about Gate is the fact that it adapted the manga very well. And I'm saying the manga because that's the only thing I've ever read in the Gate series. I might read the light novels, I don't know. But the problem is the light novels aren't even translated. Anyways, the manga compared to the anime, they were very similar, and I felt like the story went on the appropriate track. I feel like the manga had a little bit more politics involved, but that might be just because that the politics that I'm thinking of right now haven't even come into play in the anime yet. At least we're about to head into that position. And when I'm actually making this review, I already know that there's going to be a second season. And that second season, I already know what's going to happen in that second season. And I'm actually looking forward to it, because I think that is actually going to take us further than where the manga is right now. And that's actually really surprising for me. But so, the politics and the gore, I found to be different compared to the manga and the anime. In terms of politics, political thinking, political in-game stuff, I feel like it was adapted very well. It was very, the essence of the politics was still there. It was very obvious that there were politics in play. There was still political power waging war against each other. All in all, that's kind of, that was in the anime. That was portrayed very well. I just felt like that it was maybe a little lacking. I can't think of any specific examples off the top of my head. I just know that it felt different. Like, I felt like there wasn't as much politics. Again, that could just be because I'm thinking further ahead in the manga rather than now. Now, as I said, this is A1 Pictures. A1 Pictures is known to just butcher anime, as I've said already. But you see, when it comes to gore, it's ironic that I'm saying butchering because that's gory, but that's a gory description to utilize. Either way, Gate, the anime, had little to no gore whatsoever. It was nice that they actually incorporated some of it. I already went in expecting absolutely no gore, and I appreciate that they actually they discreetly put in a few situations where, okay, yeah, there was gore, and it's obvious that something gory is going on right now. We just don't see it, or something along those lines. If you're just gonna watch the anime, that shouldn't really bother you at all. Although I will say that it is something that the anime was lacking, given all of the deep, complex themes and elements and genres that they had in it. It was lacking in the final thing that would have wrapped it all up, and that would have been gore. One of the things that I was really appreciating about this anime was the character developments of different characters. I was really happy to see Itami getting the character development that he does end up getting, because in the beginning, all he gives a rat's ass about is his anime. That's all he gives a shit about, his hobbies. And then as we go through the anime, you can tell that he's changing. He's becoming a better person. And I don't mean that he's giving up his hobbies. I mean, like, he's willing to help people, and he's actually willing to be nice. And that's very unique. That's very rare to see. Where I see a lot of anime where the main character either stagnates or just goes down a bad route. That's really all I can say about that, because that's the truth. Most of the time I see a character stagnate in character development somewhere in the middle, and then all of a sudden they become a better person at the end, and you're just like, wait, what? No, there's no character development that led up to that point. And then there's also the people that go down the bad, evil path, and you're just like, damn. At least it's better than stagnation, I guess. It's better than stagnation, I guess. One way or the other, the character development was good for Itami. And then the other characters, I really appreciated the amount of airtime that they were given, the amount of, how much we got to see them. For example, Princess Pina, I really was happy that we got to see her that much. We got to see her a lot. And even though she's the enemy, she still understands diplomatic relationships, and she still understands the importance of politics and having good terms with somebody that literally just needs to take a shit on you and you're done. You are done. Just a random side note, now that I'm thinking of Princess Pina. Princess Pina and then her subordinate, I think it's Boses, they have a very interesting fetish develop as they come into contact with the Japanese culture. And I'll just say right now, it's a very, very typical girl fetish for just really strange girls. But at the same time, it's like, what the fuck? Why are these specific girls having this fetish? I'm not going to say what it is. You probably already can guess what it is. The animation is A1 picturesque. Quality's okay. That's really all you can say about A1 Pictures. There's nothing spectacular. Except, I guess, the fight with the dragon in episode 3, maybe 4, somewhere around there. That was a interesting bit of production quality that they put into the anime, because it was one of the few places where they actually put in extra money just to make it look better. But of course, it's a fight. Like, why not just put a little bit more production quality throughout the entire anime? Either way, the anime production quality was good. It was decent. you can sit through and watch it and not be like, oh God, why is that there? Like, why is this such a bad segment, like second of quality or of animation? Like, no, I think it was solid through and through. Something I was also going to bring up is the opening. I don't know how many people can agree with me, but the opening, I had a friend like one of my actual friends from high school come up to me, like he messaged me on Facebook, and he was like, hey, yeah, dude, this opening sounds like High School of the Dead opening. And I'm like, are you high or something? And he's like, no, dude, seriously, like listen to it. And so I listened to it, and I kind of understand where he's coming from, because the beginning is very similar, but then you actually get into the song, and it's like, no, it's nothing like High School of the Dead. That's just a little bout that I'm thinking of right now. But yeah, the opening, I really liked the opening. It was very, very good, and the sequence for it was awesome. It was so good, and I needed to bring that up because the ending song and the ending sequence for each anime doesn't actually really come up to mind, because I never really found it to be that good. But the opening I actually sat through and watched every single week because it was a good opening, and I really liked that opening. That specific opening was very fun. It warmed you up for the anime, basically. That's the perfect summarization I can think of for that. So in review of what I have said for the past, I don't even know how long, this anime is very good, very, very complex in certain aspects, though A1 Pictures did make sure it was dumbed down enough to where everybody can watch it. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to offend dumb people, it's just that's the fact of it is. The fact of it is that people that can't appreciate deep, complex issues like politics are just would not be able to understand them if A1 Pictures went full out on that. But so, good adaptation of the manga. I really enjoyed the story. There was good elements of comedy, and there was good elements of fan service. And I don't understand why people didn't like the fan service episode. It's episode 7, just so you guys know. I'm pretty sure it's episode 7. Yeah. Episode 7, pretty sure it is. And no, sorry, it's episode 9 that is the fan service episode. And you actually probably saw a picture up there in my video somewhere where there was actually fan service. Like it showed the picture of them in the hot spring bath. But yeah, that everybody was upset about that, and I don't know why, because you need, in this day and age, you kind of have to have fan service. I don't always appreciate it, but when I understand why there's fan service, because when you get to a standstill point in an anime or a story, you kind of need something to liven it up, and that's what the hot spring bath was. That's what the hot spring was for, just to liven things up. But so I'm gonna leave it off there. All of my ramblings and just talking about this anime, I'm just going to leave it there by saying 3 things about this anime that I say should help you decide whether or not you should watch it or not. The first thing is that if you want action, I really don't recommend this anime, because this anime has maybe 3 episodes where there's actual fighting. You shouldn't be watching this anime if you want straight up fighting. There's only not 3 episodes, 4, maybe 5 episodes out of 12. That's for somebody that wants fighting, that's not a good mix. The second thing is, watch this anime if you like dialogue, if you like intense chases, if you like intense scenes and sequences that's going on. that this is a good anime to watch if you want those few things: intensity of sequences and scenes, dialogue that's really, and there's like a lot of intense suspense. The third and final thing that I want to say is that yes, Itami has a harem. That's very at this point. By now, you should realize that. And if you don't realize that, I am saying it right now, that yes, Itami develops a harem. But, guys, come on. What main character that's not a girl, that is not a heroine, has no harem at some point in their anime adventures? Come on, seriously. If you can give me an anime in the last 5-6 years that was good and had a main character with a harem, or that didn't have a main character with a harem, if you can find me that, then I will take back my statement right now. I will even upload this video all over again just to say, yeah, okay, somebody pointed this out and I digress. There is actually an anime that had a harem that did not have a harem, and that was actually good. And so those were the three things I can say that should be the defining factors for whether or not you should watch this anime or not. Animation, art style, music, characters, all of those are pretty solid. It gets down to your preferential, like what you prefer. And with that, I'm gonna leave off with a rating. The rating that I'm gonna give this anime, I was actually thinking about this through this entire video. I was gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And I was thinking about it because why am I giving it an 8 out of 10, not a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? And for me personally, I didn't like. It's a good story. I like it, but I felt like it wasn't the most entertaining anime for me for this season. It was not the most entertaining. So I think I am gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Which is a 4 out of 5 if you want that scale. A 4 out of 5 or an 8 out of 10. That's a pretty solid rating. If not, compared to what I've been saying about the anime, that might be surprising. But like I said, it comes down to the entertainment value of the anime. And personally, I found others to be better than this. And I didn't feel like I was looking forward to this anime every single week. Although I will say, I do know some people that did. So that's all for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys liked the video. If you do like the video, please let me know by punching the like button and subscribing to the channel. And as always, folks, somehow, somewhere, I'll see you guys soon.